Good morning, guys and gals. Jeff Michael here, Sports with Balls. Had a little bit of technical difficulty a second ago. I tried to get some music going for the intro to the show, but man, you know how things go. Technical difficulties as follows, man. But welcome into the show. I'm Jeff Michael. Monday Night Football on the docket. We'll get to that in a little bit. Major League Baseball. 6 games left in the baseball season. It's going to be a nice push, man. AL and NL wise, it is a close battle, if you will, to get into the playoffs, man. So we'll get into the Major League Baseball playoffs as well. Some NBA news. Look, I know the NBA is not the hottest topic to a lot of people right now, but there's a couple of things they changed, and there's a player that could be on the move here pretty soon. A big-time NBA player could be on the move. We'll talk about that. Betting, great bets day. Look, yesterday, 3 out of 4, and in fact, you could have gone 4 out of 4 if you got the Rams +3, or at least pushed it, because I had it at 2.5 when the game or when this show aired yesterday. But it moved to 3 when the games way before the game started. I got it at +3. I hope you got it at +3 as well. And if so, bam, you hit the 4-leg parlay, which I did. I hit the 4-leg parlay yesterday. It was awesome. I've got more coming today. That's going to be look, it's going to be fun. It's going to be good. So you guys get ready for that. What else we got going on today, man? What's today like? What national day is it? The 26th. National Key Lime Pie Day. Go get your key lime pie. Better breakfast. Pancake Day. Get your pancake on. I'm not a pancake guy. I'm just not. The 26th already. Damn. Are you guys decorating yet? Y'all decorating for Halloween? Y'all decorating for any holidays yet? I do have some Halloween stuff out because the kids got the Halloween stuff put up already. Well, not all of it. We haven't gone into the attic. Have you gone and made the attic trip yet where you pull all of your stuff out? And yeah, just the nightmare begins of you knowing that you have to put it all back up. But anyways, welcome to Sports with Balls. Like I said, I'm Jeff Michael. The day after Monday Night Football, there was 2 games yesterday. Always a good time when there's 2 games on. It was fantastic to flip between the 2, and I did not have to log on to Amazon Prime, YouTube, anything like that. I just had 2 games on where I could switch between both games. Thank goodness, man. All right, want to thank Christian's Tailgate sponsoring this show. As always, 5 Houston area locations. Go to christianstailgate.com. Go get your food and drink on, man. They've got drink specials every single day. Their food is award-winning. They've won multiple awards for all of their food. So go to Christian's Tailgate, grab your grub, get some food, order it if you've got Uber Eats or any one of those apps. Order the food to go. Excellent place to watch sports. Watch the screens. They've got all the boxing matches, all the fighting, UFC fighting, all the games, of course, will be up there. 40 plus televisions in every one of their locations. Go to christianstailgate.com. Also want to thank Wes Dunn at westoncg.com. 832-534-2374. That's westoncg.com. Roof, exterior, construction, whatever you need done, man, give Wes a call. He will hook you up. And Washington Ho, right here. Hobuzz. Go to hobuzco.com. THC infused seltzer. This stuff is really good, man. Look, if you like going out, you like having a good time, but don't like drinking and the effects of getting a hangover from alcohol. THC infused seltzer. Go to hobuzco.com to learn more. All right. Now we got all that out of the way. Football time. Did you guys watch the games last night? I watched both, flipped between them. I hope you won your fantasy football league. I did. I won all 4 of them. It was a great weekend. I'm not going to brag. Nobody likes a bragger, but it was a great weekend. Jamar Chase finally went off. Joe Burrow had himself, I guess what you would call a day. But first, let's get to the Philadelphia Eagles taking on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and which was a dominating performance, 13-3 by halftime. Eagles just looked like they were going to smack them all over the place, and they did up until the fourth quarter. I said yesterday this was a get-right game for the Philadelphia Eagles, and I think it was. 25-11. It shouldn't even been that close. There was a junk touchdown at the end by the Tampa Bay Bucks. But the Bucks are who we thought they were, and the Eagles are rounding into a team that we thought they would be. They're 3-0. They played 2 games on the road already and 3-0. And they haven't even reached their full potential. And apparently half of their team was sick yesterday too. So the Eagles, look, they're the San Antonio Spurs of the 90s of the NFL, right? Like it's not the most exciting team in the world. You're not going to sit there and be like, I can't wait to watch the Eagles play on Sunday. It's a very clock-dominating offensive scheme. And look, they're 3-0. They get wins. Top of their division now because, of course, as we know, we talked about yesterday, the Dallas Cowboys lost. The Giants are terrible. And by the way, I think the Giants play next Monday on Monday Night Football. We'll get to that later on in the week. But the Eagles and Bucks teed off last night, 25-11, like I said. I guess if you're going to take away anything from this game, it's not like Jalen Hurts was overly efficient. 23 of 37. That's okay. But he had 2 picks, 2 interceptions. 2 picks. And 23 of 37, 277. He only got sacked once. Look, the offensive line, if you're going to take away anything from this game or what the Eagles have started off doing in this season, the offensive line of the Philadelphia Eagles is awesome. There's some monsters up there. Those guys are really, really good. On the flip side of that, Baker Mayfield was somewhat of a feel-good story going into the game last night. 15 of 25, 146. 146 passing yards the whole game. 1 touchdown, 1 interception, got sacked twice. Crucial sacks, too. This was it wasn't boring is a terrible word to explain this game because it wasn't boring. I guess it just wasn't exciting. It was just a Philadelphia Eagles Buccaneers game in 2023. That's what it was. I'm not going to get all fired up about Kenneth Gainwell getting 14 carries for 43 yards. I think the main key to this game last night, as I sat there and watched it, was the offensive line of the Eagles. Eagles had over 200 yards rushing on the ground, 201 to be exact. They just dominated up there. They dominated the defensive line of the Bucs, and Jalen Hurts just did his job. But 2 picks, you gotta straighten that up. But again, they played the Bucs 3-0, leading their division. Bucs 2-1, a healthy 2-1. I like Mike Evans. Whoa! I mean, he won a Super Bowl. I get it. He's amazing. I want to see this guy on a team. I want to see Mike Evans on a squad. Man, that guy's talented. Wow. 5 receptions, only 60 yards, 1 touchdown, 10 targets. On the flip side of that, A.J. Brown finally broke out for the Eagles. Let's see, 9 receptions, 131 yards, 14 targets. Yes! I say that because I got him in fantasy. So there you go. Other than that, man, DeAndre Swift, not Kenneth Gainwell. DeAndre Swift had a good fantasy game, 130 yards on the ground. Long was 29. Just a good game. Good game for Philadelphia. So there you go. I got Kevin Anthony chiming in as usual. Go Cowboys and F Dak. You can't say that in the same sentence. How does that work? Like Cowboy fan cracks me up, man. Go Cowboys, F Dak. All right. You know, I was talking about Mike Evans a second ago. Imagine Mike Evans on the Dallas Cowboys, man. Whoa. And Cowboy fan, I get it. I've got Dak in one of my fantasy leagues. I don't. It's not like I wanted to have him there, but I've got him on one of my fantasy teams. He played terrible. But guess who's calling your play calls, Cowboy fan? Yeah, your head coach. I don't know how that's going to work out. Look, it was great against the Giants and it was great against the Jets. It was not great yesterday or 2 days ago. Was it Dak Prescott or was it Mike McCarthy? Another question I got coming in. Let's see. Eagles are my Super Bowl pick. Jeff, who is your start-sit player of the week? In fact, we'll wait on that till tomorrow. I'll go over some fantasy stuff because we got a Thursday night game. I'll get into some fantasy football stuff tomorrow for sure, especially for Thursday night's game. Super Bowl pick. It was at the beginning of the season, before this Joe Burrow stuff that we're about to get into. My Super Bowl pick was a rematch between the San Francisco 49ers and the Cincinnati Bengals. But if you watched that game last night and you are a football fan like I am and watched the game, well, I don't mean fan. Maybe I'm a little bit more than a fan. But Joe Burrow does not look good. I know why they started him. I completely understand why the Cincinnati Bengals started Joe Burrow. Do I agree with it? No. But they could not afford to go into an 0-3 hole. You can't. Your odds of making the playoffs from 0-2 to 0-3 are drastically different. 0-3 is a tough hole to climb out of and make the playoffs in the NFL. But the Bengals had an easy schedule coming up in front of them. Easy-ish, if you will. Tennessee, Arizona, Seattle, before they get into San Francisco and Buffalo. So I thought he should have rested. Get that calf better. Maybe they squeak out a win without him. But he played, and it was rough to watch him. Look, I get it. They got the W. And he said after the game, no setbacks, which is great. That's fantastic. Jamar Chase got involved for the Bengals, which was a great sign if you're a Cincinnati fan. But, man, your whole season, your entire season, playoffs, everything, ride on Joe Burrow's calf. Like everything. So maybe he'll get some rest. Let's see. When do they play? Pretty sure at noon on Sunday. I mean, for them, I'm sure they wanted it to be a Monday night game. But, yep, they play Tennessee noon on Sunday on Fox. Then they got 7 days, and then they got 7 days. So we'll see. Do you rest him against Tennessee if he's not 100%? Because now you got a W. I don't know. He played, but you could completely tell he could not push off that back leg. He can't throw the long ball. Or he can't even put that much zip on his short ball. Everything was 10 yards. Only, I think, 4 throws were more than 10 yards. Everything was right there, right in front of him. The question is he going to play this way the entire season? If so, the Bengals' Super Bowl hopes are down the drain. They're down. See you later. You cannot beat San Francisco, Buffalo, Kansas City, Philadelphia. You can't beat those teams throwing 10-yard routes and no zip. They're going to get to you. And if he's still injured like this and not 100%, he cannot run out of the pocket. He only ran out of the pocket one time that I remember last night. If he takes off sprinting, he's going to re-injure that calf and you can forget it for 2 to 3 weeks. Then your season's absolutely over. I get it. They needed a W last night. I totally understand that. But I would have rested Joe Burrow. I would have sat him and waited and try to get that thing as I guess close to 100% as you possibly can before you take on San Francisco, Buffalo. Then you got Houston, Baltimore, Pittsburgh, Jacksonville. If he needs 2 weeks, he needs 2 weeks. And right now, Tennessee and Arizona coming up. Rest Joe Burrow. Maybe you get one of those, right? Maybe you squeeze out one victory out of Tennessee and Arizona with your backup. You've got enough talent surrounding it with Mixon and Chase. Man, you're not going to win with a 75% Joe Burrow, and I think that's what you have right now. Maybe 75%. Let's check out his stats. Joe Burrow, 26 of 49. That's not very efficient. 1 interception. No touchdowns, by the way. 0. That's not your backup can do that. I promise you your backup can do that. A 60% Joe Burrow is as good as 100% backup QB. Hell, go get one. If you don't trust your backup you have right now, Man, Joe needs some rest. If the Cincinnati Bengals plan on making a Super Bowl run, Joe Burrow needs to rest. You could see it last night. I'm glad he didn't have a setback, and he'll get some more done this week. But, man, that calf's got to be 100%. Can't beat those top-tier teams. Matt Stafford on the flip side, 18 of 33, 1 touchdown, 2 picks, 269 yards. How about this receiving core, though? The receivers, especially Puka Nacua, however you pronounce it, Puka Nacua, man, and Tutu Atwell. By the way, I had Tutu Atwell for the touchdown, first scoring of that game last night. I saw the replay. Now maybe I was biased because I would have won a decent amount of money, but he scored on that first touchdown. He scored. They called it back. Rams 16, Bengals 19. Rams are now 1-2 and getting back to, look, their offense looks fun. It looks like Matt Stafford's having a good time out there. Are they going to bide for the playoffs? Okay. How do you pronounce Puka Nuku? What? Nukua? I don't know. I'll get it right one of these days. Anyways, Puka. He did well. 72 yards receiving, 7 targets, 5 receptions. Good for him. Matt Stafford looks like he's having a blast out there. He looks like he's having fun. That offense looks fantasy-wise, fantasy football relevancy. This offense is good. They are. The receivers for Los Angeles Rams are decent. They are not bad at all. Tyler Higbee, tight end, had 71 receiving yards last night. Like, all these guys are getting targets. Here's their targets: 7, 5, 9, 3, 7. That's spreading the ball around. Los Angeles looks fun. They look fun. It was fun. It was more fun to watch the Los Angeles Rams than it was the Philadelphia Eagles. Sorry. I understand the Eagles won, but I told you how they won and what their team kind of is. But it was that game was way more entertaining. And I get it. They're not going for entertainment. They're going for W's. And the Rams lost and the Eagles won. Bengals get to 1-2. And like I said, they've got Titans coming up. The entire situation just revolves around Joe Burrow. The other great thing last night was Jamar Chase, and they put him in situations and put Burrow in situations where they would get him the ball. 15 targets, 141 receiving yards, and of course no touchdowns because Joe Burrow didn't throw any. But 141 yards receiving, it's great to see. Maybe Joe Burrow slowly gets some more zip on the ball. I don't know, but you're not beating those other top-tier teams with the way Joe Burrow is playing right now. It's not happening. Let's take a look at the standings real quick. AFC East, Miami Dolphins, the high-flying, high-scoring Miami Dolphins, 3-0. Buffalo Bills got back to form. They're 2-1. You know, it's funny. The run differential, well, I say run differential because of Major League Baseball, point scoring differential, I guess, if you will, for the AFC East. The Miami Dolphins, you would think, would be blowing everybody away, right? They're plus 59. The Bills are plus 56. They're right behind the Dolphins in differential. So don't count out these Bills just yet. They look great this past weekend. New England Patriots 1-2, and the New York Jets, Jets 1-2. And a reiteration from their head coach. Zach Wilson is the starting quarterback. If y'all didn't listen to the show yesterday, go to Sports with Balls on all your podcast arenas. Go listen to it. Went off about this. How Zach Wilson needs to stay the quarterback for the Jets. You don't need to go trade. They had Joe Namath on a podcast yesterday going crazy on how bad Zach Wilson was. And I keep him there. Keep Zach Wilson as the starting quarterback. Tank without saying you're tanking. Get one of these incredible quarterbacks, or looks to be incredible quarterbacks that's NFL ready coming out of college next year. Have them sit behind Aaron Rodgers for 1 year while you get your Aaron Rodgers money's worth. And then you got your franchise quarterback after that. Zach Wilson needs to stay the starting quarterback if you're a New York Jet fan. I know you don't like it. I know it's rough seeing it. It sucks because it's ugly football. But, man, keep him. That way you get your draft pick. There's 4 or 5 quarterbacks coming out this coming up year in the NFL draft that the Jets need. One of them. So, Wilson, have at it. Have a blast. Good luck with your backup career, because that's pretty much what it looks like at this point. AFC North, Pittsburgh Steelers, Baltimore Ravens, Cleveland Browns, every single one of them tied at 2-1. If you're going to ask me who's the best out of those three, Ravens offense, Pittsburgh Steelers defense, man, love that division, as always. I say Ravens and Steelers. Browns, Sean had a great game. We'll see if he can keep it up. And the Bengals are at the bottom of that at 1-2. As we saw last night, Joe Burrow playing, but just doesn't look healthy. So I can't put him up there. AFC South, Colts are at the top of this division with Anthony Richardson hurt. Houston Texans beat the Jacksonville Jaguars, who have a -18 scoring differential. The Jacksonville Jaguars, we said their defense was bad. I didn't know it was this bad. Jacksonville Jaguars have no defense. They have no secondary. So Trevor Lawrence has yet to have his coming out party this year, and they're 3 games in. We'll see what happens this coming up Sunday. Tennessee Titans are down there at 1-2 as well. Derrick Henry, man, where is he? We're going into week 4, guys. Week 4, and this is you're 1/3 or 1/4 away into the season. You need to know where you're at. Like, this is where the separation starts to happen. AFC West, Kansas City Chiefs 2-1, +38, by the way. Raiders, Chargers. Is Staley? Is that the first head coaching job we see gone this year? What a terrible decision. They're lucky. They are lucky they won that game. The Chargers, the Los Angeles Chargers, are lucky they got an interception to win that football game, because going for it on 4th and 1 in your own territory and not getting it, just a terrible, terrible call. And then we move to the Denver Broncos at the bottom of the AFC West, 0-3, Russell Wilson, Sean Payton, the Walmarts, the Denver community, all hyped up. Sorry. I like Denver too. I love the city. I love that stadium. This wasn't going to happen overnight. I knew it from the beginning. I think that if you pay attention, even some of the professional people that I saw all over television, Sean Payton's going to get them all back into shape. Yeah, they're ready. They lost by 50. Just saying. 50, not 25. They lost by 50. And he had Russell Wilson in the whole game. Oh, man. I said, I go and I do a show on the Denver Forum in Denver at least twice a week. I'll be on it today later on. Go to @Denver Forum on Twitter, by the way. But I do a show in Denver, and I told them by week 8 that Russell Wilson would be benched. And here we are at week 3, and you're already seeing rumblings of major changes from Sean Payton. He won't stand for this. They go 0-4. Let's take a look at the Broncos' schedule. Oh, yeah, that's right. What? I know this is not a watchable game. They're playing Chicago on Sunday at noon on CBS. If they lose to the Chicago Bears in Chicago and start 0-4, and they lost to the Chicago Bears, you're going to see some massive, massive uproaring in Denver from the folks. Chicago, widely perceived as the worst team in football right now, and Denver's right there with them. If Denver loses at Chicago on Sunday, watch out. Watch out. Austin Bauer joining in the show says Wilson is washed up. Been saying that for a minute. He had his great years in Seattle. He did. And I understand they're trying to, reel in some old school Russell Wilson, and he's had flashes of brilliance. He's had a couple of quarters where he played good. That's it. 50, folks. They lost by 50. You're not going to recover from that. And let's just say they go to Chicago and lose. Wow. And then not to mention the week after that, they had the New York Jets. Do not let the Broncos start 0-5. They will boycott in Denver. Because the schedule after that, you can forget about it. Kansas City, Green Bay, Kansas City, Buffalo. Those are all losses. Those are all losses. So you better get right somewhere between this week and next week with the Bears and the Jets, or wow. Denver is in serious, serious trouble. Man. Sorry, Bronco fan. I'll be on Denver at Denver Forum later on this afternoon. Probably talk about that. So I'll give you guys a shout out on, or I'll give you guys a heads up on Sports with Balls. So go to Sports with Balls on all your social media channels. Just type in Sports with Balls. We're there, and on your podcast arena, just type in Sports with Balls. All the shows are there. And of course, I'll give you a heads up here in a little bit to all of that. Let's move on to NFC. Philadelphia Eagles 3-0. Cowboys 2-1. Cowboys are still a good team. Mike McCarthy calling the plays. I don't see it. Not going to work out. Washington, the surprising Washington Commanders, 2-1 as well. Not tied. The Eagles are 3-0, but tied with the Dallas Cowboys. NFC North, Green Bay Packers, Detroit Lions. Love it. And then you have Vikings and Bears, 0-3. The Vikings lost every game, all three of them, by less than one possession. Or not less than one possession, but lost all three games by one possession. Last year, they won 11 games in one possession games. This year, 0-3. Atlanta Falcons 2-1 in the NFC South, tied with the Saints and the Bucks after the Bucks lost last night. And of course, in the NFC West, the San Francisco 49, in my opinion, the Super Bowl bound San Francisco 49ers, 3-0. Great football team, man. Oof. What's their schedule look like? When do they have a chance to maybe get beat up next? Ooh, Dallas in 2 weeks. That's a Monday night football game. Woo. After that, Cleveland win, Minnesota win, Cincinnati, if Burrow's out or hurt, win, Jacksonville win, Tampa Bay win, Seattle win. It's not till Philadelphia. I'm going to count the San Francisco 49ers in the playoffs right now. They're 3-0. Schedule is very, very, I guess, complimentary to them getting in the playoffs. All right, guys, welcome into Sports with Balls. If you're just now joining us on YouTube, on Twitter, on Facebook, I'm Jeff Michael. Follow us on @SportsWithBalls on any social media platform. We're going over Monday Night Football earlier. If you missed anything, type in Sports with Balls wherever you get your podcast. And we're there. Show number 228. 228 shows, man. 3 years I've been doing this. For those of y'all that think that it's my first rodeo. It is not. Jeff's top 5 and bottom 5. We'll get into that tomorrow. We just went over the standings. Let's get to some baseball, man. Before we do that, I want to thank a couple of people. Christian's Tailgate, boom, right here. Go to christianstailgate.com. One of their 5 Houston area locations. Get up there, watch the games, watch the fights. Incredible food, incredible music. They got karaoke. They've got beer pong events. They've got eating competitions. christianstailgate.com. The place is amazing, man. It's always a blast. I think they open up at 11. Just go there. Absolutely fun. And one of their locations here is a Bills, like a Bills Mafia home for Sunday for the Bills games. And another place is a Cowboys place. So go to christianstailgate.com to find out where. Also want to thank Wes Dunn at westoncg.com. That's Wes at westoncg.com, 832-534-2374. Roofing, fencing, exterior construction, interior construction. Give him a shout. Got you. And Hobuzz right here. This little drinky right here. This one. Go THC infused seltzer. Hobuzzco.com, 832-929-4563. Learn about this stuff, man. It's really good. They've got 2 or 3 different flavors. If you don't like drinking alcohol or the effects of alcohol afterwards, this stuff, THC infused seltzer, go check it out. Hobuzzco.com. All right. Where we be? Oh, Major League Baseball. Houston Astros, man. Way to go. Finally got a win. You believe the Astros got swept at home in a playoff race by the Kansas City Royals. The Astros are under 500 at home. It's unbelievable. Under 500 at home on the season. Justin Verlander pitches in Seattle last night and goes 8 1/3 inning of shutout ball. JV rounding into form. That's dangerous for the playoffs if they can keep it. But the problem is the Astros got to get to the playoffs. They're in it right now. They're in the playoffs right now, but mind you, only by half a game. That's it. Let's see. If we're going to the wild card race, that's what they're in right now because the Texas Rangers lead the division. They're 1.5 games up on the Seattle Mariners, who they face again tonight. And the Toronto Blue Jays are a 1.5 up on them in the wild card as well. So you got the Tampa Bay Rays who are already locked in there. The Toronto Blue Jays 1.5 up on the Houston Astros, and then you've got the Mariners. Those are your teams. And if for some reason the Rangers fall again, well, you'll have them down there battling it out with the Rangers, the Mariners, and the Astros. They're in a serious battle right now. All within a 1.5 of each other. Whew. 6 games left. 6 games left. Man, gonna be fun. Except for, I believe, who plays the Braves here in a minute? If we're moving on to the National League, because in the American League, the Rangers are playing the Angels, Astros at the Mariners, and the Braves play the Cubs. We'll get into that in a second. Yeah, the Rangers and Angels, Astros and Mariners. There you go. Those are your games to watch in the AL. Moving on to the NL, which is also very, very interesting. Philadelphia, 5 games up, pretty much a lock. Arizona Diamondbacks, Chicago Cubs, Miami Marlins, and Cincinnati Reds. Now, the Giants and Padres aren't out of it yet, but they're on the outside looking in. Man, Diamondbacks, Cubs, Marlins, Red, all within 2.5 games of each other. There's 4 teams biting for 2 spots in the playoffs. Cubs, sorry. I hate it for Cub fan. You're playing the Atlanta Braves. That team, if you paid attention yesterday, that team is good. Really good. By the way, there's 162 games left, or 162 games in the baseball season. I believe there's 6 games left, like I said a minute ago. And the reason I asked this is somebody just asked me on the show. Let's see, 162. So, yes, 6 or 7 games, depending on who you are. 6 or 7 games left in the season. That's it. 2 series. You got 2 series to make it to the playoffs. And unfortunately, the Chicago Cubs are playing in Atlanta, the best team that I've seen in baseball in a very, very long time. They're comparable to the 2017 Houston Astros, maybe even some of the Yankees teams. The players on that team, on the Braves, are Ronald Acuna Jr. My goodness, man. Look, good luck in the playoffs to anybody. If you know, I'm an Astros fan, right? Like, I love the Houston Astros. They're not beating this team. This team is good. Look, their hitting's phenomenal. They've broken all kinds of records, but their pitching is on point. Spencer Strider, good luck, man. Good luck to them. Dodgers take on the Rockies in a. You know what? I'm going to get to that game in a minute because that's one of my bets for the day. There's a doubleheader today between the Dodgers and the Rockies. The Marlins, who are in that playoff race, they're in New York to take on the Mets. So decent game for them to try to get right and sneak into the playoffs. But as far as the National League goes, you've got the Marlins, you've got the Reds. Who are the Reds playing? Let's check out who the Reds are playing because they're still in that. The Cincinnati Reds are at Cleveland Guardians. Not a terrible team. They're 41-38 at home. The Reds are 42-34 away. Good for them. Good road record. Major League Baseball, 6-7 games left, depending on what team you are. Unbelievable race going on. Great stuff right there. Look, there's no NFL tonight. There's games everywhere, all over the docket in Major League Baseball, and some great betting opportunities for sure. Speaking of, let's get into them. Here's my bets for the day. All right. I don't have any music to go because last time I tried to play the music, it cut this thing off. So we'll work on that. Bets of the day. I told y'all earlier the Dodgers and Rockies go at it. There is a game today at 2:10 p.m. Central Time. Give me the Dodgers. Give me the Dodgers in both games, both minus a run and a half. The Rockies are not that good of a baseball team. They're playing in Colorado. The ball's going to fly out of the park. In fact, the over-under for game number 1 is 12. 12 runs is the over-under in game number 1 this afternoon in Denver, Colorado. My next game on the docket, Baltimore Orioles at home taking on the Washington Nationals. Orioles are 45-30 at home. Nationals are 35-40 away. It's not that hard. Take the minus run and a half because it's a heavily favored game. There you go. Dodgers, Orioles. Next game on it, Twins. Give me the Minnesota Twins at home versus the Oakland A's, who are absolutely a terrible baseball team. In fact, the worst one in baseball. Minnesota Twins over the A's. Take the minus run and a half too, because again, it's minus 250. Take the minus run and 1.5 run, and boom, you get a better odd. Dodgers games, Orioles game, Twins game. One more baseball, and then I'm going to move on to something y'all are not going to believe. Tampa Bay Rays over the Boston Red Sox. That's if you want to throw this one in there. Red Sox are under 500. Rays are a good baseball team. Under 500 at home, that is, Red Sox. I like the Rays. All right, so Dodgers, both games 1 and 2. The Orioles, the Twins, and the Rays. I like all those games. Set them however you want, but those are my 4 baseball games that I really like, or 5 baseball games I really like. And then my game of the day. Pick of the day, guys. The Las Vegas Aces. That's right, WNBA. I'm putting money all over this. Right now, the Aces are, I believe, minus 10, and they're going to blow the rocks off of the Wings. That's who they're playing. They are averaging at least 15 to 20 point wins. This team is, man, I want to say their record, they've only lost like 6 games all season. They're good. They are really good. Las Vegas Aces, guys. I love it. It doesn't start till 9 p.m. Central Time. They're minus 10.5. They're 34-6. I told you. 34-6, and they win by an average margin of 15 to 20 points, man. For real. I know it's not something you would see all over the betting board. That's the game to play. Parlay the Las Vegas Aces with both the Dodgers games and the Orioles game. Boom. Got yourself a 4-leg parlay. By the way, won yesterday. 3 out of the 4 legs hit. The 4th one pushed if you got the LA Rams plus the 3 points. And I did. So hit that. So today's bets, again, both the Dodgers games, the Orioles, the Twins, and the Las Vegas Aces. If you want to throw the Rays in there, you can as well. I don't mind that game either. All right, on to NBA news. Since we're talking about the WNBA, let's move on to the NBA and some new rules and a man by the name of Damian Lillard. We've heard all, I guess, summer long, he wants out of Portland. And now there's a new team that emerges where he could go, and it is the Toronto Raptors. That's right. Damian Lillard to Toronto. That is the lead story. Good for him, I guess. I don't know. Will Toronto win a championship with Damian there? They just won one with Kawhi. I don't know. Portland fan, you're going to lose the best player you've had ever. Sorry. Just couldn't get it done. But that's the breaking news, if you will, in the NBA. Other NBA news is they've got flopping penalties now. That's pretty impressive. We were all complaining about it for a while. I'm not going to mention his name, but I think you all know who I'm talking about, who flops the most. So they got flopping penalties now and and an in-season tournament. In the middle of the season, they have a tournament for, I guess, a trophy. An in-season NBA trophy. And this is all to try to get people to be more interested in the regular season, because we all know the regular season of the NBA is, man, it's tough to watch. How about that? I'll just say it's tough to watch. Resting. Oh, and also NBA, good for this, penalties for resting players. How about that? NBA really trying hard to get it back to where it was in the 80s, 90s, and early 2000s, when it was actually a lot of fun to watch the regular season. So good for the NBA. That's NBA news. All right, guys, I appreciate all of you paying attention to Sports with Balls. Man, look, if you missed anything, go to Sports with Balls on all your podcast arenas. If you missed any of the show, it'll be up there right after I'm done with this. And, of course, I'll be back tomorrow. Follow Sports with Balls on all social media sites. And I'm going to put up, look, I'll be in a show later on today in Denver, talk about the Broncos and some other stuff. But, look, follow Sports with Balls, all your social media arenas and your podcast arenas for all of the updates and when I'm coming up next. I will be here every single morning now, so you guys can plan on that. I want to thank Christian's Tailgate. I want to thank HoBuzz. Go to hobuzzco.com. And, of course, WestonCGCO.com. Wes Dunn over there. All right, guys, we're going to see you tomorrow morning. Appreciate you.